Okay. All right. So, hello, everyone that's watching us today. It feels different to be, doing a welcome reflection conversation like this. But um, of course, I think it's the start of the year is a great time to just have some time to reflect, to chat, to have some honest conversation. And so, yeah, that's why we're here today. So, for those that might not know me or be familiar with me, I'm Aide Cervantes Salazar. I'm the coordinator of the Second Year Experience Program.
Yeah. Hi, folks. My name is Michelle Lara. I am the assistant coordinator for the program.
Hey, y'all. My name's Stephanie Ramos, and I'm the program assistant for the Second Year Experience.
So we are the team that works tirelessly, that's super excited always to be thinking about how we can help your experience be better the second year. And so we're really, really excited to be starting a new year with you all. But yeah, we just wanted to have kind of a real conversation about just the past 6 months, what we've learned so far, the gems we're taking with us for this next academic year, and just kind of how the program can really help support you. So just so you know a little bit about us and who we are, just personally too. So I am a proud alumni of Oasis and UCSD. So I was fortunate to be able to be in the Summer Bridge program way, way back in 2003. That feels like ages ago. But that was really a transformative experience for me. And because of that and just the relationships that I was able to build, I really felt that my experience at UCSD would not have been the same without Oasis or those programs. And so I was ATC, which is now a mentor. I was senior staff, and never imagined that I'd be able to come back actually as a professional and to work in the position that I'm in. So I do feel very fortunate to be in this role, and I take it very personal, the privilege and the opportunity to be able to help just shape and support students in this way, in a way that I felt really helpful. So turning to you, Michelle.
Yeah, and I'm also an alumni from UCSD. I graduated in 2013. Unfortunately, I did not do Summer Bridge or any of the transition programs, but a lot of my friends did when I was in school, and so that's how I found myself at Oasis. And I worked in various roles with Trio and with Summer Bridge too, both as an undergraduate, and once I had graduated, I kept coming back because I just really loved Oasis so much. It made such a big difference for me. Finding people who thought like me and who looked like me and valued the same things as me, I think it felt like home when sometimes UCSD didn't really feel that way all the time. So that's why I love working at Oasis. And actually at Oasis is when I found out that or learned that I really had a passion for counseling and working with people in the helping profession. And so thankfully to my mentors at Oasis, I was able to do a master's program. So I went to San Diego State and got my master's in multicultural counseling and social justice. And professionally, I came back in 2016 and found myself with second year experience 2018. Has it been 2 years already? Yeah. And so I've really enjoyed my work here just because I feel like I see myself a lot in the students that we work with, and it's really personal to me because if it weren't for programs like Second Year Experience and the mentorship and the friendships that we build, I don't think I would have been able to get as far as I am today. So yeah, that's why, a little bit about me and why this work is so important to me. And I'll hand it over to Steph.
Thanks. Yes, and along like Aide and Michelle, I'm also an alum from UCSD. I graduated back in 2017. I took 4 years and an extra quarter to graduate. I always make sure to say that because sometimes we're so pressured into making it to that 4-year mark. But if you take 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, it's your journey. So yeah, I graduated with a major in human development and a minor in ethnic studies. And I there reached out to me right before I had graduated, before I ended that extra quarter. And she had heard how awesome I was. And she was like, Steph, I want you to work with me. And I've been with the second year experience now for about 2.5 years. And it's been a transformative position, journey. I mean, I have Michelle and I there, a working family and personal family that's amazing. And just working with the second year experience, I've loved how transformative it can be for students. The second year is so important. I mean, just making it your first year and then to your second year, once you're done with that, you're halfway down your UCSD career. And it's important. It's important to have the help, the support, the community, and that's what I'm all about. Similar to Michelle, I was not in Summer Bridge or any Oasis programs, but I had heard how amazing the program was and I got involved, and I haven't left. So I love it. I love the community that we have, and hopefully we can begin this new year with more community building, with helping each other out, and just knowing that we're here for you, because especially during these times, they're very, very difficult. And we all know we all got our things going on, but if you know you can count on us and we can give you a helping hand, then we're here for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, true story. That's exactly how it happened. I heard how amazing Steph was, and yeah, so we're, I think, a little, as you've heard a little bit about us, we're really passionate about working with second year students with Oasis at UCSD, and I think that translates to just the way that we try to help support you all as students and build community, because it's personal, and just kind of how we've shared. We were the students just like you, and we were in your shoes, and these are some different times for sure. These are challenging times, and so real talk, this is has been an unprecedented time, right? And so we had a conversation similar to this in early spring when we had just gone virtual, and so much has happened, right? So much has changed in that time, but also some things have kind of stayed similar. And I think it would be remiss of us to not address and not really be open and honest and saying, like, we see you, we see the struggle, we understand that, especially for like Black communities and students that are Black students, we see you, we understand that this is a really challenging time, and as allies and people of color, we can understand how structural racism is just something that impacts every way and aspect of life, that you experience, that we experience, that have just come to light maybe now more prominently. And so, yeah, there's definitely been just hard times. We know that the pandemic has impacted many of us, right? And that at this point, we're a nation in mourning. We're grieving. Some of us might be grieving actual family members or loved ones that have been impacted or might have passed, or we're grieving the fact that we can't be with loved ones or friends or in classrooms together, and that learning is going to look different than it's looked. Or maybe we're just grieving the fact that we can't do simple things like maybe going to the grocery store without having precautions that we're just not used to. And so we understand that. I think at some level we're all grieving, right? And we're experiencing that, and that grief can look different for for all of us, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think what makes this a complicated time is like maybe some of us, we didn't really expect to be in this situation this long. And so maybe spring quarter was just like an adjustment, like, okay, let's just figure things out. And now we're like months into this and it's affecting all parts of our lives now. So it's hard to compartmentalize or just feel like, okay, this is just an adjustment period because it's been so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, Michelle, like I know we've talked about it before, and like I as we can refer back to like that awesome podcast that you shared with us about early in the pandemic and referencing, you know, the work of Brene Brown. And she talks a lot about like resiliency, compassion, courage, vulnerability, and grief. But something that, you know, that reminds me a lot of like what she's shared in her work is that when we experience hard times and you know the pain, which is one of the stages in grief, right? You know, there's the anger, there's the denial, there's all these things that kind of stop us from that stage of really actually just experiencing the grief, right? What gets us through those hard times is being able to have connections, being able to feel the love of others, reaching out, and 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 so as hard as that might be right now, especially, I think those are the kind of things that we need to lean into, right? Especially because, as you know, as you're saying, we don't really know. That's the hard time. That's the hard thing too, right? We don't really know like how long this is going to be. We certainly weren't mentally prepared. Or I wasn't at the beginning for it to be 6 months or more. But yeah, like thinking about like how what has been helpful for us during this time.
And now even more than ever, I mean, you know, we're confined to our homes, to our dorms. Um, we're just separated and annihilated from society right now. Like it's so different how you said it, and how what actions we're going to take and how are we going to make sure that we get that help and that we connect with each other, I think is now more important than ever. But then also it's like scary and intimidating because we're not having that face-to-face contact. And I know that for me personally, speaking with you two, checking in and just knowing that I'm not alone in the struggles that I'm going through or the struggles that you're going through and how we're overcoming them. You know, it's not an easy journey, and you know, it's not going to go away from one day to the next, just like this pandemic. I mean, who knew we were going to be at home for this long, or just not being able to do our normal day-to-day things? And we still don't know how long we're going to be, you know, and with everything else going on in the world, the fires, having families that might be in tough situations, all of that. So taking actionable steps that might be a little bit out of your comfort zone, but hey, if you need help, you need help, and it's okay to ask, you know?
Yeah. What are some things that, given the situation that we're in, that has been helping you all kind of like get through this time? Because I know some of these things like we cannot change. Like I can't use my magic wand and change structural racism. I can't save global warming, or you know, and I can't somehow create a cure for COVID-19, but there are other things that maybe we can do for ourselves or in community in different ways with each other that somehow is fulfilling, or feels like we have purpose, or we are creating change somehow. So I'm wondering like what you all are doing, because I'm curious to know.
Some days it feels like just surviving the day. You know, being real about that. But I think definitely in like the hardest moments that I've had, I've realized like reaching out. So reaching out, whether that's my spouse, my loved ones, my family, my parents, my friends, and being my therapist, being able to lean into the support that's there, and that realizing like it's completely a normal experience. Though these might not be normal times, it's a normal experience to need support and to need help, and to allow for that, and to make the time to ask myself like, what do you need right now? Because even that, like as a working mom, you know, as a partner, sometimes that's tough, but that's definitely something that I've been having to practice more of.
Uh, Personally, I'm the type of person to, if something is bothering me or if something's going on at home or with me personally, I tend to not think about it. Like I put it to the side and I'm just like, I gotta survive. I have to do what I have to do to just take it day by day, week by week. But in reflection of this quarantine and this past summer, because a lot of different things were going on at home and just with me, I feel like making a time to practice self-care, whatever that means for me, if it's reading, spending time with my dog, exercising, I mean, in whatever way that I can with this quarantine, and also checking in with folks, just how I then mentioned. I think that's important too. Knowing that someone's asking also, hey, how are you doing, is nice. And sometimes I can, hide away from ever saying that to anyone or expressing how I'm feeling. So definitely reaching out. And how I had mentioned earlier, it's a lot more difficult to do it when you're not face to face with, other friends or coworkers, relatives. But for me, just making the time to practice self-care and knowing that at the end of the day or at the end of whatever struggle I'm going through, it's gonna work out. It's all about, it's something that I believe in. Like, it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you react to it. So I can dwell on it and, be upset, and that's okay. I've had my moments, but at the end of the day, it's gonna work itself out. And just trying to stay positive for sure.
Hmm. What have you been finding has been helpful for you, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm a very structured person. I like love organization. So this whole working from home and being at home like really threw me a curveball. So it took me a while to find my routine, but I feel like once I actually sat down and wrote one, like what are some things I want to accomplish throughout the day and how can I break up my days, that's helped a lot. And I'll be honest, I don't stick to it all the time. And I try not to be hard on myself if I feel like I'm not being productive. If some days like I end up watching Netflix all day, and maybe that's just what I needed. And other days I like get a ton of chores done. I make some food and I'm like, wow, this is great. I have a lot of energy today. I just try to take it as it comes. Something that has been helping is I go for daily walks. And I think before I didn't really make time for them, and now I do. And before it was just like an excuse to get outside. And now I'm really finding that I enjoy it. What used to be like driving in the car, like listening to podcasts, now it turned into going for walks and listening to music or really fun podcasts that help me feel like some sense of normalcy. I started gardening and that's been really fun. So I started projects that I told myself I've always wanted to do that I told myself I actually didn't have time to do. So like painting, gardening, and those are all things that like are considered self-care, but really the things that fuel my soul, that make me feel like interested, engaged, and keep my mind busy. And for me, a lot of times I used to be able to go to protests and stuff to engage in like activism, and now that has to look different. And I know some folks really put their lives on the line to really go out and protest, and I appreciate them. And I find my own ways of doing that. So I've been getting involved with like community projects and following pages on Instagram that give live updates. I'm trying to be as involved in like policies and the city council here in San Diego to try to create change. And I've never done that before. I've only participated politically at like the state or the federal level, but now I'm realizing how important it is to be civically engaged right here in San Diego. So following pages like the Community Budget Alliance and Abolish Police or Abolish ISSD. And yeah, so that's been really helpful too, because it makes me feel like I'm trying something, at least I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's very true, and I think real to realize that that it can look really different, right? And that I think if anything, right now that's teaching us that it's important to be able to know like in what ways it intuitively and more true and to you and your experience, but you can still make change and be involved. And as important as it is important for all the different lanes, right, to be involved to make change, and as important as it is to hold federal, state, and local level. Yeah, the intentionality, I think that this time is showing us of everything, where our money goes, and how our purchasing power, our consumer power, where we buy things, who we support, local businesses, and yeah, like locally, how do our local governments spend the money that we pay for in Texas, right? So all of those parts are really important, definitely. Yeah.
And I appreciate that you mentioned that, Michelle, and because even we talk about those topics and how maybe in the past we didn't as much, but with the upcoming election and just being informed with everything that's going on, I think that's also it can be draining, but it's good. It's good to stay informed and just know what's going on. So I appreciate you too for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that we all have a point of influence, right? Or a way that we can impact some change, and it doesn't take all of us to impact real long-lasting change, and that takes time, but that we all have some level of ability to use our voice to impact some change. But you're right. So this is a critical year. There's a lot of things that are happening this year with elections, and not just what is happening right now, and with the pandemic and everything, social distancing, we're going virtual, we're starting the year virtually. But, how can we take what we've been learning that's working for us so far in these 6 months, and how can we bring that into this new academic year, right? And so things that we'd like to remind you all, first and foremost, is hopefully that you can get a sense that, we're real people. We can understand, what you're feeling, that though we might not know individually the specifics, but that we can empathize with, just the challenge that it is to be a second year student, a first generation student, of a student of color, and all the different things that that can kind of come with, right? And so that the program itself is built in ways to help support you, right? And that we're going to ask you to trust us, to lean into maybe being uncomfortable, and that it's not, again, it might not feel as easy to try to have these connections, because we won't be personally in the same room, but that hopefully you still have faith in us to be able to trust us, that what we're asking of you there's a reason for it, and that we're just trying to help support you, right? So the year, and we'll go more into this, of course, in orientation and stuff, but the year will involve you having a mentor. So you're gonna have a peer that you can check in with and have honest conversations about like how things are going for you, how classes are going, how maybe that they might recommend some resources. They're older classmates that might be in your same major or discipline or career interest. That might have a lot of similarities to you that hopefully you also learn from and get to know a little bit better. And so we're going to ask that you trust that process, and trust that that the mentor is going to be there to help support you, and that hopefully, even if it feels rough, maybe there might be days that you might not want to connect as much, that you still encourage yourself to do that, because it might be exactly what you need, right? So Michelle, you want to talk a little bit about EDS 23?
Yeah, we're also going to be having a winter seminar, or a seminar in the winter called EDS 23, and we'll be focusing on like high impact practices and community building with all of you. So we're hoping that all of you participate so we can all get to know each other a little bit better and really start thinking about why your second year is so important and how to really build off of this year. Despite where we are, we still got to make moves towards graduation and your career goals and what your aspirations are for your college career. So we're still going to try to support you in that as best we can. And so we'll do a big bulk of that in the winter seminar. So keep an eye out for that, and please join us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, how the program, it's centered for you all. It's centered for your success, for your flourishment. It's a holistic support. And just making sure that you listen and you reach out. We'll have presentations every quarter catered to topics that are important and that you can attend to. If you need help with housing, we'll have a workshop for that. Studying abroad, even though, it's kind of different right now, we have a workshop for that. Financial aid, anything that you need. You'll also be getting a text sometime soon through Signalvine, and you can help us improve and tell us what workshops you would want. And these are all catered in the topics that we have seen that second year students appreciate. We will also have podcasts on our website catered to topics that also help second year students. We'll have YouTube videos or something like this where you can actually see us speaking with you all. And just anything that you need, let us know. Reach out to your mentor, reach out to us. Oasis is also there. If you just go to oasis.ucsd.edu, you can see our program, you can see the tutorial services, you can see a lot more in depth on like what we're talking about. And of course at orientation, we'll give you a lot more information. So, staying engaged, being open to change, being open to ask for help, and we're here for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so, again, reminding you that we're here for you, we're here to support you, that we understand that this is a different year, and that, there's maybe more things that might be like challenges or things that kind of feel like are keeping you from doing more things that you'd like to do or participating. And I just encourage you to remember this conversation, and that, Michelle, Stephanie, and I are here to support you, that we understand that we want to be able to help you find what's going to be best for you and what that looks like. And so just letting us know as well, and how that is, and if things come up that, that you just let us know too. So we're here to support you. We're here to listen. We're here to celebrate you, to encourage you, and to help you just not just survive this year, but feel like, I learned something, I got something out of it, and definitely be successful in the rest of your time at UCSD. And so we'll leave you with that. But we're so looking forward to seeing you and to meeting you, even if it's virtually. So
Thanks for tuning in, y'all, and we'll see y'all at orientation.
Yeah, you're already done with 1 year. Let's get another one in. Y'all can do this.
That goes for all of us.
Yes,
Yep.
definitely. Yes. So thank you so much.
Bye, y'all. Stay safe.